Oh my God. You are so manipulative.
To think of facing public.
You're fake crying. You are fake crying. You are fake crying. That is not real. Oh my God.
What's crack, it's VangelinaSkov, and today we're going to be talking about Tati Westbrook's latest video. She's been teasing that she was going to make a video about the whole situation with James Charles and Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star for a while, and at this point I was starting to think that it wouldn't happen, but about an hour ago, 2 hours ago, she finally uploaded the video, and it is very long. But thankfully, unlike some YouTuber videos, this was not 40 minutes of absolute nothing. This was 40 minutes of her going in depth what happened from her side of the story. So today we're going to be going over what she had to say about all of this. And honestly, she has a lot to say. 2 things before we get into that though. First of all, please subscribe and click the bell button to get notifications when I upload. Thank you very much. And secondly, sorry for the obvious it's nighttime lighting. I didn't think I was going to be doing a video today because I have a really sore throat. So also sorry if my voice is a little bit off, but my voice is always off, so you probably won't notice anything. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So right off the bat, she mentions some very interesting things. She points out that she has been speaking with her legal team about all of this. And she also said that she spoke with her legal team before making this video and before deciding what she was going to say. She also points out, after speaking a little bit already, that she is reading from script, which was fairly obvious. But she did say that she wrote the script herself. She just wants to be very careful about what she says for very understandable reasons, because people do tend to pick apart little bits and it's very easy to misspeak sometimes. She then goes on to answer one of the biggest questions that a lot of people have, which is why she's been so silent on this whole situation, especially considering this started last year. Well, her reasoning for this is that she was in a very bad mental state and was terrified of social media and everyone that was involved with the bi-sister scandal, and with everyone who was involved with the downfall of James Charles. Now, after explaining that and making all these disclaimers, she does go on to finally tell her story of what happened. But interestingly, she doesn't start from the beginning. The very first thing that she tells us is that in December of 2019, just after the series with Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson that they did on the beauty community had ended, she and James Charles began speaking again. And at one point in December, James went to her house. They both shared their stories of what happened and showed each other DMs from the time that everything had gone down. And they both apologized to each other and forgave each other. And she also moves on to say that she loves James and she's so sorry for what happened. She says although she's apologized to him in private, she also wants to apologize to him publicly. Now, this obviously came to the surprise of a lot of people because people didn't know that they were still speaking to each other. And a lot of people were under the impression that Tati wanted nothing to do with James, because a lot of people thought that she orchestrated this and did this on purpose along with Shane and Jeffree. But according to her, that's just not the case. Now in the video, she starts talking a little bit about how she first met James, as well as going through a little bit of the beginning of James's career. And she says that although he had still made mistakes even at the early stages of his career, she still believed in him. But before the entire bi-sister scandal happened, she had started to feel frustrated with him because he had started to act very entitled, and she believed that he was making a lot of really bad choices. Now, this is where she says that none of the concerns that she had about James Charles became overly concerning until she met Shane Dawson. And she also claims that she was fetishized by both Shane and Jeffree Star. Now, this is where she goes back to the beginning. She says that at the start of Jeffree Star's YouTube career, he contacted her because he wanted them to meet up, presumably to collab or something like that. But they did not meet until 2017. And she claims that although she knew full well that he had been problematic, she truly believed that he had changed and was a better person. And she then compares him to a lion, but not in a good way. She says that he was dangerous as a person, but he was always kind to her. And it kind of seems like that's a common theme in Jeffree's friendships. That seems to be something that, although they don't compare him to a lion, they still always say that he's so kind to me, just not to anybody else. And she also talked about a lot of things that should have been red flags for her about Jeffree, including that period in 2018 where all of his friends, Manny MUA and all that crew, decided that they wanted nothing to do with him. But she missed these red flags and continued to stick by him anyway. And to further strengthen the beliefs that she had that he was a better person and he had changed and he wasn't the problematic person that he had been years prior, was the original series that Shane Dawson did with Jeffree. And if you don't remember that, that was a series where Shane met Jeffree for the first time when he was at the height of drama, and to put it simply, made the entire internet love him again. And another red flag that she points out is the fact that she and Jeffree didn't communicate often and they didn't see each other many times. But she claims that he always contacted her whenever he was in the midst of some drama or he had a launch coming up. And she acknowledged that she should have known that she was being used, but she didn't. And even further this, she says she now sees it was a problem that he would constantly talk about how much dirt he has on everyone, that he could cancel anybody that he wanted to. Which isn't just something that he said to her. He said that to a lot of people. He said that on his Instagram. He said it on Snapchat. He said it a lot. But at this point in Tati's video, she decides to stop reading her script for a moment and tells us that she's pretty sure that Jeffree is going to try and expose everybody, because there's a lot of heat on him right now and he's not going to be able to take it, especially if people start turning on him and speaking out against him. Now, going back to her script, she starts to talk about Jeffree's favorite topic of 2019, which was James Charles. According to her, he could not stop talking crap about James whenever he could. He even told Tati before she was set to do a collab with James that he didn't originally want her for the collab, that James actually wanted Nikki Tutorials but couldn't get her, so had to settle with Tati. Just throwing in lots of little bits here and there to make Tati distrust James. At Tati's birthday, whenever James wasn't listening, Jeffree would start talking about how out of control James was. And the next day, he even called Tati to apologize for his behavior. And he said that he was embarrassed for her. And when she went for a tour of his warehouse, which was stocked with James's merch, Jeffree was still talking crap about him. Now, this is where Shane Dawson gets involved. A little while after this, Jeffree started to tell Tati that Shane really wanted to meet her. So they started talking and Shane kept complimenting her and buttering her up, saying that she was a goddess in the beauty world and so good at makeup, and he wanted her to teach him everything she knew. And she says at this point she had no reason not to trust him. She hadn't really seen any of his previous videos. The only videos that she'd seen of his were the series with Jake Paul and the series with Jeffree Star. But she does say that she wished she had gone back and looked at some of his older videos. Now, at some point in April, she claims that Shane visited her home and she shared a lot of personal information with him. And to that, Shane said that he was an empath and could feel how much she was hurting. And again gave her more compliments and told her that God had called her to be a beacon of light in the world. Now, to a lot of people, this does sound like blatant manipulation and trying to get Tati to trust him. But you know, we don't have concrete evidence that that is what he was doing. And Shane also told Tati that Jeffree wanted her to have a place in the series that they were doing on the beauty community. But the series was changing dramatically because there was a lot of terrible things going on involving James Charles. She claims that Shane called James a monster that had many victims, including minors. He said they were planning to interview victims for this series and that they had a lot of evidence to back up their claims. And at this point, she really did trust Shane and what he had to say. Now, Tati also says that before she made her Bye Sister video, she'd been contemplating for a few days whether or not she should make it. And although Shane said on his recent post on Twitter that he sort of knew that Tati was thinking about making a video, but didn't know what was going to be in it and didn't know how brutal it would be, Tati claims that he did know that she was making the video, and that he even offered to edit it, design the thumbnail, and help her come up with a title. So on her side of the story, he knew full well what was happening. Now, although she hadn't made her full decision on whether she wanted to make this video or not, the final tipping point for her was the night before she made it, when Jeffree sent her a voice memo of an alleged victim of James. Now, this is most likely the same voice memo that Blair White had talked about, as well as the one that Jeffree had teased on the Mom's Basement podcast. She claims that it wasn't enough evidence for her to call the authorities, but it was enough evidence to scare her. Now, she was still a little bit on the fence. This same night, she also texted Shane Dawson and said that she was worried about James because he was alone on the 50th floor of a hotel and she was worried that he might do something to hurt himself. But Shane didn't seem to think that this was a problem, because he said that James was a narcissist and would never do that. In the end, as we all know at this point, she did make the video. And on the day that it came out, Shane asked her if he could come over to film for the series. She said no. Now, before she actually made this video, Shane and Jeffree had assured her that they had hard evidence and that as soon as she made the video, people would start coming out and speaking out against James and telling their stories. Nobody came out, and no evidence was shared. Now, according to her, she hasn't actually communicated with either Shane Dawson or Jeffree Star since the day that Jeffree posted his Never Doing This Again video, where he said that although he had receipts, he didn't want to show any of them, and that he was gonna keep himself out of drama. At that time, she asked Shane not to put any drama in the series, but he didn't respond to her until he had already posted the trailer. And again, contradicting what Shane has said, Tati claims that she never saw the trailer. So it wasn't actually until she saw James again in December of 2019 that she realized what had happened. She believes that she was manipulated and gaslighted and lied to by Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. And in her opinion, their reasons for doing this was because James was growing in popularity rapidly, and they were jealous. They needed to knock him down so that they could get out of his shadow. And she also thinks that another driving factor could be because they wanted James out of the way for the launch of the conspiracy palette. Which, if you remember from the series, Morphe had actually wanted the palette to come out in October because James had either a launch or a restock coming out in November when they wanted the conspiracy palette to come out. So it kind of makes sense. She also dives a little bit into more speculative territory, saying that she recently found out that Jeffree is a co-owner of Morphe, and that before all of this happened, there were talks of James developing an entire makeup line with Morphe. There are a lot of things that you could derive from that, but there is no concrete answer whether that is even a defining factor or not at this point. But to top all of this off, she says that Jeffree speaking on the Mom's Basement podcast and blaming her, and Shane blaming her in his post, was completely cowardly and defamatory. And she moves on to say that she is talking with her lawyers and they will be pursuing some kind of action.
This is insane. This is insane. This woman is a fucking... I'm gonna wait till as many people get in here as... Keep playing it. Keep playing it.
I didn't know I was making a video. So how is it that so many editorial outlets knew that something was coming before I had...
Because you message drama channels! Oh my god. Oh my god.
I struggled with the decision
Oh my
to
god.
film my video for days. The night before I did film, Jeffree sent me what he claimed was an audio file from an alleged victim and told me to listen to the pain in her voice. The audio was clearly a small portion of the conversation. It wasn't enough for me to contact the authorities. It was enough to scare me.
Well, then why would you make a video on the matter claiming these allegations?
Because she is a... I can't. I don't want to say mean things about people. This is insane. This is insane. This person literally... Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Keep pressing play. I need to get through this video so I can... Oh my god.
As a victim of abuse myself...
Oh my god. You are so manipulative.
To think of facing public...
You're fake crying. You are fake crying. You are fake crying. That is not real. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was molested. I have been... Oh my god. That is not...
And I made no mention of it in my video.
Oh my god.
Get off.
The night before posting my video by sister,
Oh my god.
I texted Shane sharing my concerns for James Charles, that he was out of the country on the high floor of a hotel and I was afraid for...
Now, on the talk of lawyers, she does also say that they have advised her not to share any evidence at the moment, which would be, in YouTube speak, receipts. And I do want to point out that I have seen a lot of people saying that, well, she's not going to show any receipts. She's just saying the lawyers don't want her to show any because she doesn't have anything. But the thing is, when there is an open investigation going on or one party is going to sue another party, your lawyers will almost always tell you not to share any evidence. And that is because you could ruin your case like that. If the opposition hears what evidence you have, they can start building their case off of that and working on their own defense. So for her to actually share any kind of receipts or evidence would completely ruin any case that she has. And I do want to also point out, for people that say that she's probably lying about the lawyers, it would be a very bold claim of hers to say that she's working with lawyers and working on a case when she's not. It would be even bolder of her to make things up for a video that aren't true or aren't going to be a part of the case if she is in fact working on a case. But she does say at some point this will all come to light and she will be able to speak about it. But she is pursuing proper legal proceedings, which I and a lot of other people think that if she is telling the truth, this is definitely the best way to go about it. Now, obviously, a lot of people have a lot of differing opinions. Some people trust her, some people don't. Some people think that she's making this whole thing up, and others think that this just further backs up claims that Shane and Jeffree orchestrated this entire thing. But if this does go to court and there is some kind of legal proceeding, at that point I think we'll all firmly know what is actually going on. But do let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. I would love to hear it, and I always try to read all of the comments. Anyway guys, that's going to be it from me for now. As I said at the start of the video, please subscribe and click the bell button to get notifications when I upload. And you can also follow me on social media. Oh, and one thing to say as well, I'm not sure if there'll be a video tomorrow. I was planning to take a day off today to rest my voice because I do have a problem with my throat at the moment. So there might be a video tomorrow, there might not, but if there isn't, just don't hold it against me, okay? Thanks. But you guys never do. You're always very nice about my days off. And of course, like, comment, share, do all the things that I'm supposed to ask you to do at the end of a video, and have a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.